Hello friends, welcome back. I am Professor P.R. Patil, Professor of Agronomy, College of Agriculture, Baramati. I welcome you all to this new course of Geoinformatics, Nanotechnology and Precision Farming. So this is a course which deals with the advanced technology here and are used by the farmers all around the world and which will improve the productivity of the farm, which will improve the production of the farm by using more and more of technology. We know that today we are living in 21st century and digitalization, use of mobile phone, use of cameras, use of satellite, use of data is very important to improve the efficiency, to improve the production. So this is the course which will deal with these subjects. This is the course which tell us about these new technologies and which are, we can say, the future of agricultural technology or science. So what are these technologies? What is this course all about? Let us go and see. Geoinformatics, nanotechnology and precision farming. So you can say uh, these are the three words given in the course title, but however I will divide this course into two parts. One is precision farming. Geoinformatics is a part of precision farming, so by using the geoinformatics we are doing precision farming, and second part is nanotechnology. Okay, so let us, you can consider these two are the main parts. However, the course title looks like geoinformatics, nanotechnology and precision farming. So this is a 1 plus 1 credit course. You will have theory as well as practical. Let us start with the first topic or introductory lecture on precision agriculture. Precision agriculture, what it is? See, all over India, we can say today 60% of Indian population depend on agriculture, and majority of farmers are practicing agriculture in a traditional way, and many of them are uh, farmers. So there are so many challenges also. But if you compare with the other developed nations, productivity of different crops is low than what we can get. In other words, potential yield, the maximum yield that we can obtain from a crop is way higher in some other countries than in India. Production is more. We are leading producer of say sugarcane. We are leading producer of vegetables, but that is because of the area we have. We have large area available. So if we can improve the per hectare production, then our farmers will have a better lifestyle. They will earn more. So is there any method by which we can progress in this thing? So precision agriculture means precise, means accurate. The word precision means accuracy. We have to bring accuracy in agriculture. Now accuracy in what regard? Accuracy in the terms of whatever the operations we do in the farm. Maybe it is fertilizer application, maybe it is water or irrigation application, maybe it is the land preparation, anything, weed management, pest management, disease management. So if you do it precisely by studying the data, what is required, actually what is required, instead of just following the same thing year by year. See, every year the soil conditions will be different, weather conditions will be different, and if you follow the same methods, you know you are not going to get same yields. Every year the yield will be different. So this conditions change, we need to understand the conditions. Okay, so that is the core, that is this topic. So we will discuss about what is the need of precision agriculture. These are the learning outcomes. What you are going to learn in this topic. What are the objectives or need of the precision agriculture? What is the concept of precision agriculture? What are the tools and techniques we can use or generally use? What are the steps followed in precision farming? And what are the issues and concerns with relevance to Indian agriculture? There are some issues or problems in Indian agriculture to adopt this precision agriculture. What are those that we will discuss at the end. So, what is the need, or in other words, objective of precision agriculture? What is the importance of studying this concept? Okay, so let us discuss one by one. The precision agriculture aims at optimizing the profitability and protecting the environment. So we can optimize the profitability and also we can protect the environment. What is happening right now? Whatever the technologies we use, the farmers are using indiscriminate use of the chemicals. Means whatever is required, more than that is going, it is applied to the crop, it is applied to the field. For example, if suppose there is a insect attack and you are using any insecticide, suppose you are spraying 500 liters of insecticide per hectare, how much of that is actually used to kill the pest? That is very small amount. Remaining pesticide is wasted, remaining pesticide falls on the soil and it creates a pollution. In other words, if you apply more of fertilizers all over your field, and how much of that fertilizer is absorbed by the crop? That efficiency is low. So we need to improve that efficiency. Thereby, we can say protect the environment as well as we can optimize the profitability. So by efficiently using the resources. Second objective is to minimize the wide gap between potential yield and actual yield. So potential yield means how much that particular crop or that particular plant can give maximum yield. Okay, it can be a theoretical yield, but genetically what is the potential of that plant? How much grains it can produce, how much pods it can produce, or how much fiber it can produce, and what farmers actually harvest in their plot, that is called as actual yield. So there is a wide gap between potential yield and actual yield, and this can be minimized if you provide ideal kind of situation to that crop. Means exact quantity of the nutrients and water and aeration and temperature, if you provide, then maximum growth will happen and better yields are realized. Third objective is resources needs are met at right time, right place, right quantity and right method. Whatever the need of that crop is there, we can call it as resources, like the nutrients, the water, or any growth promoters, temperature, resources. So they are met at right time. See, there is a life cycle of a crop. For example, if paddy is grown, grows for 120 days. So in this 120 days, every day you are not supplying all the fertilizers, all the resources. These are applied or given to the crop in staggered manner as per their requirement. Some crops need more moisture at the time of flowering stage. Some crops need more moisture at the time of germination stage. Okay, some crops need more fertilizer at grain filling stage. So resources are met at right time, right place, in right quantity and right method if you follow precision agriculture. Okay, simply doing operation is different and doing it accurately is different. So when can you do this precise management? Let us now understood what are the objectives of this precision agriculture. But you want to do precision agriculture. When you can do precision agriculture? When it is possible? It is possible when you understand your field, when you understand your farm, when you have data of your farm. What you see in this picture, this is a drone which is capturing the data of that particular farm area, and it is showing some green spots, it is showing some red spots, some yellow spots. Maybe let us assume that there are some spots which are showing a area of waterlogging. There are some spots which is showing a area of low soil fertility. Some area is having high amount of nutrients, some area is having low amount of nutrients. So this is the data, this is the variability that you are understanding. So if you know if you measure and understand the variability of your farm, then you can manage precisely. So precision management can be done if you measure and understand variability of your farm. Okay, how the precision agriculture is defined? Of course, you need a definition. So precision agriculture is actually a information and technology based farming system. It is an advanced farming system which uses modern technological implements like satellites, like GPS, remote sensing. Okay, these are the techniques used. So it is a information and technology based farming system where inputs are managed and distributed on site specific basis for long term benefits. Inputs are managed and distributed on site specific basis. What is site specific basis? Means you divide your plot into several parts. One part of your plot needs more nutrient, another plot of your plot needs less nutrient. So site specific management. This site needs more nutrients, this site needs less nutrients. So you have to apply nutrients in that same manner, whatever is requirement, whatever is the data suggesting. So that is what is a variable rate application. So it is an information and technology based farming system where inputs are managed and distributed on site specific basis for long term benefits. Precision farming within the field also called as site specific crop management. There is another synonymous word to precision agriculture, that is site specific crop management. So you are studying that site, you are studying that location, you are understanding what is the properties, and then you are doing the management. What are the tools and technologies used in precision agriculture? So these are the advanced technologies you can see in the picture. Can you guess? See what is there? Advanced machineries are there. Okay, the skilled people are there. So use of, you can see some satellites also, they are helping the people or they are helping the machinery. Computers, okay, on the vehicles the computers are fitted, so they have the data. So the what is there is the technologies. So in short you can say use of satellites, or you can see some people are doing the harvesting. Machines are harvesting, some machines are carrying out the sowing and fertilizer applications, some machines are spraying. And you can see below this there is the soil test for potassium, soil test for phosphorus, previous yield data. So all technologies, what are these tools and techniques? So if I list, they are global positioning system, GPS, sensors and remote sensing, geographical information system, GIS, soil testing, then yield monitoring and variable rate technologies. So these are the called as technologies used in precision farming, or these are known as components of precision farming. In this course we are going to discuss these components one by one in detail. So I will not explain about all these technologies here in detail, we will see in this course. So what are the steps to be followed in precision farming? What are the common steps that are followed? There are two broad steps. First one is identification and assessment of variability. I told you that if you want to do precision farming, what you need to do? You need to understand your farm. Okay, identify and assess the variability in your farm. Okay, what is the variable, how the things are changing in your farm. If you do only one type of management, then we can say we will get a ordinary results. If you want a precise agriculture, if you want to do precise agriculture, then you need to understand the variability. How to identify and assess the variability, that we will see in next slide. So if you identify and assess the variability, if you know the variability, then you can do the management of variability. So these are the two broad steps. However, the step 1, identification and assessment of variability, can be done by number 1, grid soil sampling. So what is grid soil sampling? Today we go into the farm and we collect the soil samples from different locations. We bring them, we mix them, and we analyze and we draw conclusions. And then we apply the fertilizers to the whole farm. This is the common technology. But in developed countries, what they do is they divide the farm into small blocks, and from each block they collect the soil sample, they do analysis, and they give recommendation for that small block. Are you understanding? One small plot is divided into 100 blocks, and those 100 from those 100 blocks soil sample is collected, and that is taken into the labs, analyzed, and the reports for every small block is given on the in a software in the computer, and that is transferred forward to the fertilizer application machine. So that is a grid soil sampling. Then one more method is yield map. Suppose you have a maize crop in your plot. Some of the maize plant are giving you 2 crops, some of the maize plants are giving you 3 crops. Okay, so there is a gap. Some plants are in some patches, they have very good growth. In some other patches in your farm, there is a improper growth of the maize. So what you are doing is block wise you are plotting the yields. Again, okay, just like soil sampling, here block wise you are keeping the data of the yield, so that is called as yield map. So next time when you will apply the fertilizer, then you know in which block there is already sufficient nutrients are there, because the crop growth is very good in that block, and there are some blocks where there is a improper growth of the maize. You want to study that block, you want to know what nutrients are deficient in that block, and then you have to manage accordingly. Then crop scouting. Okay, now let us assume that the crop is there in your plot, it is growing, it is in vegetative stage, it is in flowering stage. Then you have to go into the plot, you have to observe, and you have to record the observations. You have to see if there is any pest attack, if you have to see if there is any disease attack. However, the difference here is you are not doing this with simple naked eye observations, you are doing this with satellite images, you are doing this with drone images. Okay, so that is crop scouting. And then if you understand these techniques, use of precision technologies for assessing the variability. So use of precision technologies like satellite image, like drone image, okay, to assess the variability. Okay, there are advanced techniques how these images are actually captured, how these images are used to understand the pest attack and disease. That is not the concept we want to study, that will be there in the future topics. But we are going to use the remote sensing, we are going to use the GPS device in which location there is a nutrient deficiency exactly in your farm. So use of precision technologies for assessing the variability, and then management of this variability by variable rate application. Wherever in your farm you need to apply the nutrients, there only you have to apply, and in other areas you have to apply less dose if there is already sufficient nutrient present. So according to requirement of that block, small area in your farm, you have to manage. That is called as a variable rate application. Application will vary depending upon the requirement. Yield monitoring and mapping. Okay, so I told you that we are developing yield maps, we are keeping the data of the yield, and this yield monitoring is done, maps are prepared. These maps are again tallied with the nutrient deficiency, and the fertilizer application rate is decided, and as per that the application is done. Quantifying on farm variability. Okay, so we have to keep into consideration while doing the operations what is the on farm variability. So by understanding the variability we have to apply the inputs, and we have to be flexible. Okay, we have to adopt the flexibility rule. It is not fixed. Generally what happens is we say that this is the recommended dose for xyz crop, and every year we are applying same recommended dose, but nature doesn't behave like that. The soil nutrient status and microorganisms, they are changing, they are very complex and continuously changing. So we have to be also flexible in our management practices. Okay, one year you did some management, it gave you good result, it doesn't mean that next year you also follow the same techniques. You have to be flexible, you have to understand what variations happened in your farm this year. If you understand that, then you can do better management in next year. Now finally, what are the concerns for precision farming in Indian agriculture? What are the problems? Why we are behind in adopting these technologies? There are some. Majority of Indian farmers, they are small and marginal farmers. What is the meaning of small and marginal farmers? Per person land holding, per head, per capita land holding is less than 2 hectares in India, which is considered as very small land holding. Very small land holding. To use these technologies like GPS and remote sensing and satellite, this thing, you need a good amount of investment, which is there in the foreign countries where the land holdings are large. The private players, the large companies, or the, we can say, group of farmers working together, they can do this. But small land holding is creating a problem in India. Heterogeneity of cropping systems and market imperfections. Heterogeneity of cropping systems. There are different types of crops grown in a small farm. So for individual crop, large amount of data will be required, and that is not practical. If you have one crop over 10 hectare area or 40 hectare area, 50 hectare area, which is the situation in foreign countries like America, they have one maize crop for 10 hectare area, then they can use the data. But here in India, heterogeneity of cropping system, farmers are growing intercrops, farmers are growing one crop, then on the bunds there are other trees, neighboring farmers are growing different crop. So that is called as heterogeneity of cropping system. Market imperfections. Okay, still in India farmers are getting very low prices for their produce because of the capital expenditure capacity of consumer is also low. So there are some problems with that. Complexity of tools and techniques requiring new skills. These techniques are not possible for an illiterate farmers. We need educated people to do farming, to adopt such technologies. So they require new skill. So you should have ability to understand GPS, remote sensing, your mobile you should be able to handle basically, at least. You should know English literature, what is given on that software. Lack of technical expertise, knowledge and technology. Still in India, this is a new trend, we can say, and technical expertise among the university people is also low. However, they are growing, it is growing at very fast pace. So lack of technical expertise and technology. Infrastructure, institutional constraints including market imperfections. So there is not sufficient infrastructure like storage, like processing industries. However, India now is moving towards that direction where government is very focused about creating new businesses in agriculture which are related with processing and storage. But still, if you talk the current situation, it is not at all satisfactory, and infrastructure and institutional constraints are there. So we are far behind in these facilities availability. High cost of these technologies. Again, if you use these technologies for a small land holding farmer, this is a very high cost technologies. Means using mechanical machines with softwares and all, it will have high cost. So what can be done? Steps to be taken for implementing precision farming in India. First thing is creation of multidisciplinary teams. We need disciplinary teams like agricultural scientists, engineers, manufacturers and economists. We all need to sit together. Agricultural scientists can talk about the ideal requirement for crops and soil. The engineers can design the softwares which can read the data, which can make it as simple as possible for the users. Manufacturers can develop such machines for the farmers to use, and economists can sit together to decide what should be the cost and what should be the subsidy given by the government for such technologies. Formation of the farmers cooperatives, since many precision farming agriculture tools are costly. So one farmer cannot afford these technologies. A group of farmers, we can call them FPOs, farmers producer organization, self-help groups, farmers cooperatives, and buys that costly machineries and then use together on custom hiring basis. Just like in sugarcane industry, they do harvesting operations with the help of the harvesters. So cooperatives, so that movement is required. Government legislation restraining the farmers for using indiscriminate farm inputs. So government has to take steps to avoid the undiscriminate, or we can say excess use of the farm inputs like fertilizers and pesticides. So if the government brings some rules and regulation, then precise use will improve. So currently, for example, government is making sugarcane farmers to use drip irrigation to reduce the loss of water. So such legislations can come, and then we can say advanced techniques can be used. The pilot study should be conducted on the farmers' fields. So the university, the government must first of all convince the farmers about these technologies by creating models in the farmers' field, by creating pilot projects, okay, in the farmers' field, creating awareness among the farmers about the bad effects of excess inputs or resource use. Generally, it is believed that when you apply more water to crop, it will give more production, but that is not the science. Excess of application of water will not increase the growth of crop. That is understood by the scientists. That is understood by the experienced farmers, and that is called as awareness is generated. So we need to create such awareness about use of different inputs, and that if you apply excess of chemicals, in future your soil health will get deteriorated. The pollution is happening. The groundwater pollution is also happening. So that is the bad effect of excess input use. So this is the we can say the precision farming or precision agriculture, and today we discussed different aspects about the precision farming. I hope that this introductory lecture gave you a brief idea about what this course is all about. This is about improving the efficiency of doing practices in agriculture. This is about using modern technologies for improving the production in agriculture. This is about learning new methods which are adopted in foreign countries, developed nations, and how they are progressing. Maybe this is the future of Indian agriculture also. So I hope you have understood these things. If any confusion, clarification is there, you go again through this video, because these are new terminologies and will not be easily remembered. So go again and again through this video, and I hope we will go through this course very nicely. So for today we will stop here. Thank you so much for your attention.